I was born as a sickly child. Just a few days after birth, I had diarrhea, dengue fever, my eyes rolled back showing only the whites. I was taken to the hospital where doctors even extracted bone marrow for testing. After much treatment, I finally recovered. Throughout my childhood, whenever there was an outbreak of disease in the area, I would always be among the first to fall ill. Even as I grew older, my health did not improve. I often experienced heart fatigue and shortness of breath. Medical examinations revealed nothing, and even with medication, the symptoms would return after a few days. More than 10 years ago, before 2009, I came to know Buddhism, the law of cause and effect, and took refuge at a temple in District 5, HCM City, receiving the Dharma name DTN. I heard many stories about the miraculous responses of the Great Compassion Mantra and cases of people recovering from illness through Buddhist practice. So I began reciting the Great Compassion Mantra 7 times a day, gradually increasing to 21 times, and reciting the sutra for relief from suffering more than 10 times daily, continuing like this for several months. One time after finishing my recitation, a question arose in my mind. I knew my illness was due to karma, but what karma? Why, despite repentance, practice, chanting, and doing good deeds, had I not improved at all? What had I done wrong that illness had followed me since birth? Before I could repay my parents, I only brought them worry through sickness. I silently wished for an answer. Unexpectedly, that very night, my wish was granted, perhaps due to the merit of chanting and the blessings of the Buddhas. I fell asleep and had a vivid dream, so real that later I learned it was a past life dream. These dreams are extremely clear, unlike ordinary vague dreams. Upon waking, every detail remains vivid, even years later. Most importantly, they align perfectly with the law of karma and provide answers about one's present life. In the dream, I was a man, a general defending a city in feudal times, dressed like in Chinese historical dramas, what people today might call a heroic handsome man. At that time, the city was under attack by foreign invaders. I commanded troops, directing battles and killing enemies. I ordered cannons fired, troops deployed. With each command, bodies piled upon bodies, friend and foe mixed together in blood and flesh. Many neighboring nations wanted to seize the city, so battles continued relentlessly for months. Casualties were immense, corpses scattered everywhere, blood and flesh piled like mountains. Eventually, we were completely surrounded. There was no escape. Seeing countless deaths, I felt overwhelming sorrow and despair. Unable to hold back tears, I surrendered myself, begging the enemy to spare my soldiers. Before knowing their fate, I woke up. Reflecting on it, I realized how precious peace truly is. Only those born in war can understand such suffering. I wonder when humanity will stop creating killing karma and end all wars. On another night, I had another past life dream. This time it seemed like the colonial era. I was riding a horse carriage, chased by enemies. I held a pistol, with a rifle beside me, firing wildly and killing many. The driver was too slow, so in rage I struck him with a stick, then continued shooting. Truly, I was a violent person, and that violent nature still remains in me today. In another life, I was a beautiful woman. I fell in love with an intelligence agent and eventually joined his organization, becoming a spy. I was planted in an opposing office, using charm and skills to gather secrets, causing great losses and deaths. No wonder my life now is filled with failure. What I sowed, I now reap. Later, I became the concubine of a wealthy village chief, causing deep suffering to his first wife. I lived carelessly, enjoying luxury while ignoring others' pain. Across these lives, I created immense killing karma and suffering. No wonder I am now plagued by illness and failure. I later dreamed of another life where my husband betrayed me shortly after our child was born. My heartbreak mirrored the suffering I once caused others. Karma is truly fair. Now I understand. My karma is heavy. Though I practice repentance and make offerings, it is still far from enough compared to the suffering I caused. So now, I no longer complain about illness. I accept it calmly as karmic consequence. To end suffering, I must continue cultivating merit and repentance. Life is a cycle of cause and effect. What we give is what we receive. Looking deeply, I realize life is filled more with suffering than joy. Endless striving brings nothing lasting. At death, everything disappears, wealth, family, even memory. This is impermanence, nothing lasts. Thus, the Buddha taught liberation from this cycle. For someone like me with limited capacity, attaining enlightenment is difficult. But there is another path, rebirth in the pure land of Amitabha Buddha. That is a pure world without suffering. One only needs faith, vow, and practice, especially reciting Namo Amitabha Buddha. There, one continues cultivation without suffering, guided by the Buddha until enlightenment. Since discovering this path, I feel immense joy. My goal now is to dedicate my life to pure land practice and seek rebirth there. Even if not in this life, then in future lives. I will persist until I succeed. Karma is absolute and fair. Understanding it brings clarity to all things. I hope everyone realizes this truth, avoids wrongdoing, and follows the Buddha's teachings. Then the world will have less suffering and more peace and happiness.